whatever they say, we're just going to believe them. Trust the experts. They know everything, and we're going to consent to whatever they want. They can tax us at 100%. Actually, let's go work for free. So they can just tell us what to do and how to live our lives, and we can go live in the pod and eat the bugs. Hello, and welcome to episode 6 of A Plea to Humanity. My name is Corbin Sable, and politicians, they think you are dumb. They think, well, the vast majority of politicians out there on the right and the left think that you are dumb. And why do I say this? Because, well, they say a lot of dumb things that they expect us to believe, and they expect us to look at them and be like, oh, you're such a good person, Mr. Politician or Mrs. Politician. We need you. I need you in my life to make my life better. Absolutely not. Now, I'm not saying there aren't dumb people out there. We can all do dumb things from time to time, myself included, but I don't think that anybody really out there is just dumb like the politicians think we're dumb. Now, I'm going to provide a quick example. I'm provide a lot of examples in this podcast on why politicians think we're dumb. But first, here is Gavin Newsom saying that getting clean and sober is one of this country's biggest mistakes. Watch.
Clean and sober is one of the biggest damn mistakes this country's ever made. I know it's a hold-your-hand idealistic point of view that somehow magically, I mean, God bless some of you. If you're like me, I've been known to have a glass of wine at night watching some of the nightly news. We all need to self-medicate periodically.
Wow. Getting clean and sober is one of this country's biggest mistakes. What a slap in the face to anybody out there who's struggled and recovered from addiction, who's actually really had an addiction to a drug or alcohol or something like that. Governor Gavin Newsom of California says getting clean and sober is one of this country's biggest mistakes. And he wants you to think that that is a true statement because he thinks that you are dumb. He believes deep down that you are dumb, and he wants you to listen to his words and be like, oh yeah, getting clean and sober was this country's biggest mistakes. Yeah, we definitely need to keep drinking alcohol and inject ourselves with all the drugs. No, absolutely not. Now, to my fellow Americans out there who think Gavin Newsom is a good guy because maybe you prefer the Democratic Party out there, one of my biggest pleas to humanity out there is to see the fault in our preferred political party. Gavin Newsom is one of the most corrupt, tyrannical politicians in existence in America today. Now, you can be as progressive and on the left side of the political as you want. Gavin Newsom is not one of those guys. He's corrupt, he's tyrannical, he's narcissistic, he's a psychopath, and that is one of my many pleas to humanity is to get that message across because, oh, geez, as you can see that right there in the clip that you just watched, getting clean and sober is one of this country's biggest mistakes. Get out of here, Gavin Newsom. He thinks you're dumb, and I know you're not dumb. So we're going to keep watching a clip from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. We're going to keep this podcast flowing. We're going to watch a clip from AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who says some very, very concerning things. And if you pay attention to her words, you can see how she is framing her dialogue to make speech a possibly bad thing, to go after our freedom of speech. And remember, before you watch this, one of our greatest strengths as the people, our power, our rights, they give us power. Our freedom of speech, they give us power. So when you listen to a politician who, again, thinks you're dumb, AOC is one of those politicians that thinks you're dumb, and they're attacking our freedom of speech in such a way to frame it as though it could be a dangerous thing. Red flag alert. Red flag alert. Watch.
I think both of us were in alignment on.
Did you feel safe sitting there with him?
I think it's uncomfortable serving with people who engage in what many experts deem stochastic terrorism, which is the incitement of violence in an incitement of violence using digital means and large platforms so that individual themselves may not be the one that's wielding a weapon. But I have had to ride, as has Representative Omar, consistently had to ride in 20,000-pound armored vehicles
Apparently, AOC has never heard the phrase, sticks and stones may break my bones, but words may never hurt me. You've heard that one before, right? There was AOC. Did you listen to her words? Phrase one's ability to speak as terrorism. She is an excellent actor. People like Gavin Newsom, AOC, they are excellent actors. And they play the victim very well. I had to ride in a armored Humvee, a 20,000-pound armored Humvee, because somebody said something mean and their words equated to terrorism. They think you're dumb. And they are that was a deliberate attack on our freedom of speech. Remember, our freedom of speech, our ability to speak freely gives us power. And if the government silences that, then they are taking our power. And the way for them to silence that is to gain public trust and say, we need to silence that speech. We need to have the power to silence the speech of the people because that speech is dangerous. They cannot do that. If they do that, they are taking our power. They are taking power from the people. We need to retain that. As I mentioned in one of my previous episodes, things like our freedom of speech, things like our Second Amendment, and the rights in the First Amendment, those give us power. Those must be retained if we are going to retain power to the people, and if we're going to even have a shot at taking our power back from the corrupt government, from the corrupt corporations that have taken so much power from the people. Be wary of politicians such as AOC who label one speech as mean as it possibly can be. I get it. There's bullies out there. There's people who say mean and dumb things and vile and disgusting things, but speech should be protected. And yes, that includes hate speech. Hate speech, my friends, is still free speech. And it is very dangerous when somebody like AOC is such a popular politician as she might be, to play the victim and say that we need to essentially, I mean, she didn't say these exact words, but to say that, oh man, somebody's speech is essentially an act of terrorism, and she was, oh man, again, somebody was said something mean, and I had to go protect myself and ride in an armored Humvee. Give me a break. She thinks you're dumb. Don't be dumb. Next, we're gonna go watch this clip that I saw on Twitter. It's a TikTok video that I saw on Twitter of this lady that appears, I think, is in Walmart, and saying, how are Ukrainian refugees getting taxpayer-assisted SSI checks? Let's watch this clip.
Hey, y'all. So I'm in Sam's, and I just found something out, and I'm trying to figure it out. So how is it that the Biden administration has made it possible for Ukrainian refugees to get SSI checks? They're not paying into the system. They're not from this country. They didn't help build this country. So riddle me this. How are they getting SSI checks? You know, the monies that are taken out of every paycheck that we get every time we get a paycheck, that chunk of money that they take. How are Ukrainian refugees getting SSI checks? Make me understand that. Please make me understand that. Because they're trying to work us until we die so that we don't get the SSI check. So how is that happening? Somebody please make me understand, because the math is not mathing.
Sorry, Sam's, not Walmart. I misspoke there. But that was a very powerful minute or so there from that. And she asked a lot of really, really good questions. How are Ukrainian refugees getting SSI checks? And she raised a lot of good points. They don't pay into the system. They don't have a job in this country. They don't have taxes taken out of their paycheck to fund Social Security, to fund the SSI program. What's going on here? And this is one of the reasons why Social Security needs to be eventually rolled back into into eventually abolished. And no, that's not saying that I don't care about the elderly people and the people that are currently on it. Of course, I want people that are currently on it to continue having it. I want it to be rolled back. We got to roll it back to an eventual point of abolishing Social Security, because obviously the system is being abused. Obviously, it's not all sunshine and rainbows because politicians think you're dumb. They think that, this tax that's coming out of my paycheck is only for Americans. It's going to be for me when I retire. Not so fast. How are Ukrainian refugees getting these checks? Again, they're not paying into the system. And then in France, I believe they just raised the retirement age because another point that she just made, they just want to work us to death. So we never get those checks, so they can continue abusing the system, abusing our money, your money, the money that rightfully belongs to us, the money that we earn, not them. They're taking it. It's not their money. It's our money, and they are taking it without our consent. Taxation is, you can convince me that we need some sort of taxations to build the roads, to whatever, fund the police, the military. I get it. I understand the concept, but you have to understand that taxation is technically theft. It is taken out of your paycheck without your consent. You did not consent to have your money taken from you and given it to the government. They do it without your consent. That is the very definition of theft. Regardless if it's used for good, it is still theft. And there is no consent between you and the government to have your money taken out of your paycheck to fund whatever program. Now, it's one thing to say 100% of our taxes are used for good, the roads, the fire department, the police, the military, whatever, and none of it is being abused. But then that's not reality. Reality is that our money is being abused. There's so much waste, fraud, and abuse of our taxes. And as you can see here, and I'm assuming this is true, I'm assuming all of this is true, but I'd be willing to believe it's true, that our money is just being abused. What's going on here, guys? When are we going to wake up? When are we going to stop being dumb? Right? When are we going to wake up and realize that, hey, we the people, again, like I've been saying in many episodes in the past, we the people are on the same side. Regardless of our political differences, regardless of our differences on abortion, vaccines, whatever. We're on the same side. The side that's getting screwed over. The side that's being exploited by the ruling class. And we're essentially just going to become worker drones in the future if we don't get our stuff together. Now, in this next and final clip, I don't know who this gentleman is. I believe he's somebody from Germany. I'm not sure if he's a politician, not sure who he is, but pay attention to the words that he's saying and how we need restrictions on our lives for the greater good. They think you're dumb. Watch.
Bewältigung des Klimawandels seien Maßnahmen nötig, und dann jetzt wörtlich, die analog zu den Einschränkungen der persönlichen Freiheit in der Pandemiebekämpfung seien. Wie haben Sie das denn gemeint?
Also ich kann ja jetzt beispielsweise weniger reisen, weil also die Reisebegrenzungen notwendig sind, damit wir nicht das Virus von einer Region, wo hohe Prävalenz ist, in eine andere Region übertragen. Ich muss auf viele Dinge verzichten, die ich gerne machen würde, weil es schädlich wäre für die öffentliche Gesundheit. Ich glaube, dass wir bestimmte Beschränkungen akzeptieren müssen, wollen wir den Klimawandel beherrschen. Dazu wird zum Beispiel gehören, dass wir nicht so viel reisen, wie jeder reisen könnte.
Give me a break. They think you're dumb. They think we're all dumb. And whatever they say, we're just going to believe them. Trust the experts. They know everything, and we're going to consent to whatever they want. They can tax us at 100%. Actually, let's go work for free. So they can just tell us what to do and how to live our lives, and we can go live in the pod and eat the bugs. If you've been following Project Veritas, you'll know what I'm about to say. And if you haven't been following Project Veritas, please follow Project Veritas. They exposed CNN a while ago. They used COVID as a fear, as a tool to push fear into society. In episode 5 of my last podcast, I explained how fear and chaos is being used as a tool to control us. And they even admitted it. Undercover journalists from Project Veritas got CNN, somebody from CNN, a high-ranking producer or somebody, that says they used COVID as a way to introduce fear into society, and climate change is next. They are going to use climate change as a way to control us next. Mark my words. If you've never heard that before, they will do it, and you've heard it from that guy as well, whoever he was. They are going to use climate change as a way to control us. They are going to use climate change as a way to lock us down and build these 15-minute cities. If you've never heard that one before, look that one up. 15-minute cities, and perhaps that might be the thing that destroys them. They, the ruling class, they think we need them. They think we need them. They think we are reliant on them. They think we're dumb and that we will trust everything that they say. But again, the mask is slipping. The veil is being lifted. And more people are understanding that we don't need them. We don't need them. They need us. They need us way, way more than we need them. Very, very dangerous things that these people are saying, from Gavin Newsom to AOC to whoever that gentleman is who is speaking. Very, very dangerous. And if we do not unite and take our power back, if we do not say that, hey, we can disagree on that issue and this issue and the things that are dividing us and separating us currently, if we don't unite and take our power back, we will have a dystopian future ahead of us. We will not be able to recognize not only our country, but the world for that matter. There are very dangerous actors at play. Mark, trust me on that one. There are very, very dangerous actors. People in control, people in power, psychopaths. It's very concerning, and we need to step it up. We need to pay attention. We need to get in the game. We cannot be bystanders any longer. Let's go ahead and take a look at this tweet from Governor Katie Hobbs. Arizona families need meaningful action to help with rising costs. The federal child tax credit cut child poverty by nearly in half. How convenient. I've proposed making those savings permanent by establishing a state-level child tax credit. Let's get it done. Remember, dependency kills empowerment. They want you dependent on them to survive. The federal child tax credit cut child poverty by nearly in half. Let's think about this for a second. So the federal government has the money to issue a child tax credit because they're taking our money in the first place. I guarantee you 50 cents for every dollar that they take is going back to the communities in need, going back to the people who need these child tax credits. The rest is being, the other 50 cents for every dollar is being abused, wasted, fraudulently. People are getting rich off of it. Ponzi scheme. It's abuse of our money. And this is why I don't understand the socialists who say that we just need to tax the rich. They don't understand how much waste, fraud, and abuse is in how much corruption is in our system. If our system was perfect, if our system was run by completely affluent, good, noble people filled with integrity, honest, and morals and values, then sure, tax me more and tax the rich. Let's do it, but it's not. The reality is the exact opposite. Our system is filled with corruption. Our system is filled with evil psychopaths who just want to rise in power and do nothing but get wealthy off of our backs. So we need to take our power back by understanding that is one good thing to understand. First, how convenient. I propose making those savings permanent by establishing a state-level child tax credit. Again, dependency kills empowerment. They want you dependent on the government. And Nina Turner, I believe, is a former congressional candidate, really thinks you're dumb. Oh my God. $25 an hour, minimum wage, $2,000 a month recurring checks, unions for all workers. I quote tweeted her, how to kill every single small business in America in one tweet. Wow. I don't know if she's just a paid propagandist or it's just lives off of how many people reply to her. $25 an hour minimum wage, $2,000 a month recurring checks. Every single small business in America will collapse and die overnight. It's insane. One, small businesses can't afford $25 an hour minimum wage, so they'll have to cut their workforce and then eventually collapse. Two, if the average minimum wage worker who small businesses typically hire are taking have a $2,000 a month recurring check, why would they go to work? Why would they go to work when they have $2,000 a month free money? Man, if I was 18 years old and I had $2,000 free a month, I would not go to work. I would not have gone to work that I did when I was 16, 17, and 18 years old. Even throughout college, when I had a part-time job in college, I wouldn't have. Absolutely not. Say goodbye to small businesses with UBI, Universal Basic Income, and a $25 an hour minimum wage, unless that's what they want. Which, if you're really thinking, maybe that is what they want. Maybe they want the death of small business. Because as I said in another episode, one of the best ways to be empowered is to be independent. And one of the best ways to be financially independent is to own your own small business. So how convenient that they're looking after the little guy in such deceptive means because they think you're dumb. Let's go ahead and close out this podcast with this last tweet that I saw. Government is the biggest waste of resources in society today. They take more of our money than all other industries combined, yet they produce nothing of value and destroys the value that others produce. They produce nothing of value. When the roads are being built, that's not government producing them. That's still an individual producing. All government is doing is taking money from one person and transferring it to another person. So in a realistic scenario, we can get rid of government and still have our paved roads. You know that, right? We can still have our paved roads. We can still have our highways. We really can in a realistic scenario without government. We really can. All government does is take money from you and me, and they say, okay, we'll put it over there. And that's all they do, really. And they do it very, very ineptly, horribly, with lots of waste, fraud, and abuse of our money. Government is the biggest waste of resources in society today. They take more of our money than all other industries combined, yet they produce nothing of value. And they destroy the value that others produce. Very, very profound. It's so true. They don't produce anything. They just make our lives harder. They just impose regulations on us to make our lives harder and harder and harder. And when we understand that, when we realize that, and we realize that our differences and our ideological political differences are just designed to divide us and distract us from the real issues, then we can take our power back. Then we can say, government, we don't need you. We are independent. We can be independent once again. And being in power, taking our power back means, it might be a little uncomfortable, but power means that we are independent. We don't need government to survive. We don't need those UBI checks. We don't need government to write laws and regulations. Right? That's one way to describe power. So in closing, politicians, many politicians on both sides of the political aisle, they think you're dumb. And my plea to humanity is to understand that. To not be dumb. Choose to not be dumb. Think critically. Understand that you're being lied to. Understand that power is independency. Empowerment is independency. Dependency, being independent, kills empowerment. Thank you for watching episode 6. Plea to humanity. Politicians think you're dumb. Until next time. Bye.